have all the motivation in the world, but if you don't know how to be disciplined, then you are never going to achieve your goals and you're going to stay stuck exactly where the fuck you are right now. And action. Thank you so much for reporting for duty for the Pretty Princess Command Center episode 1, where I'm going to tell all of you pretty princesses the key to finding motivation, but more importantly, how to build discipline so that you could actually start living the life you want and you can actually achieve the goals that you've been trying to achieve. In this video, we're going to start off by creating a solid understanding of both motivation and discipline. Then we'll be going over how to find motivation, how to find discipline, and lastly, we'll end with some mindset shifts that you can implement into your everyday life so that you can start being the prettiest princess of all the land. First and foremost, what the fuck is up? It's the first official episode of the Pretty Princess Command Center. I am so excited. If you don't know, if you're new here, the first 14 episodes are actually on my other channel, but then I decided to make this dedicated channel for the pretty princesses so we could have an actual command center where the fuck we all get pretty. And you know what makes the prettiest princess is the bitch who knows exactly who the fuck she is. That's all it is. That's all it is. Welcome to chapter 1. First things first, we actually need to understand and break down what motivation is and what discipline is. Because we all are craving motivation. We all are always, oh, I wish I cooked more. I wish I worked out more. I wish I woke up earlier. I wish that I could start that side hustle. I wish that I could quit my job and open my dream business that I've been thinking about for 10 years. We all are like craving this, like, oh, I wish I could. Da da da. Hey, hate to break it to you, if you're just sitting here watching this video, if you're just sitting here wishing, wanting, you already are motivated. You already have that desire to do something, to get it done. You have that, like, I really want to do this. That's all motivation is, right? Like, if you are feeling that, if you're sitting here watching this video, you have motivation. If you have enough motivation to look up how to get motivated, you are motivated. Okay? Motivation is literally just the desire or general willingness to do something. I want to eat ice cream. I'm motivated to eat ice cream. Like, you could replace I want to with I'm motivated to, and they could go hand in hand. I want to go grocery shopping today. I am motivated to go grocery shopping today. Do they feel like they have different weights? Do they feel like they have different meanings? Yes, they don't. It's just, they mean the exact same thing. Like, I want to do something means you're motivated to do it. Discipline, on the other hand, or in our case, self-discipline, all that is the ability to pursue what you think is right or what you want despite the temptations to completely abandon it. Despite the, ooh, I really don't want to do that right now, actually. That's all it is. It's just doing shit that you don't really want to do in this current state. It's not going to give you that instant gratification, but you do it anyway because you know that inevitably it is actually going to give you some type of gratification. Doing the things that you don't really want to do when you don't really want to do them. You're disciplined enough to wake up every morning and go to work despite that feeling of like, ugh, I fucking hate my job. I don't want to go. You're disciplined enough to go, right? Because you know there's going to be consequences if you don't. That's the only thing. That is your motivator. So your motivator for staying disciplined and going to work every morning, I'm disciplined to go to work every morning because if I don't, I'm going to get fired. If I don't, I'm not going to get a promotion. If I don't, all of these things might happen, right? So you go. Discipline is what takes those I wish I want to, I whatever. It's taking all those wishes, those desires, those wants, and it's turning them into I am, I do, I have. It's not only taking them and making them, it's taking them, and then discipline is literally the, okay, let me unfold this bridge so that you could get from the I wish, I want. Discipline is the bridge that takes you from I wish and I want to I am and I have. So even though they're two very different things, motivation is a feeling, whereas discipline is an action. There are quite a few overlaps between the two, and I feel like it's so helpful to realize and recognize those overlaps and similarities, especially because a lot of times the answer to any of how did you get what you wanted, how did you achieve your goal, I feel like anytime you ask somebody that, their answer is it's either consistency or it's discipline, or it's, oh, well, I started waking up every morning and just putting in the work. I stayed super disciplined. I stayed super consistent. I locked in. Whatever it is, the answer is always some type of self-discipline, right? And I feel like when you don't have that discipline, when you're not taking the action, but you have the motivation of wanting to take the action, and then you get the answer of the only way to get to where you want is through discipline or consistency or through grinding or through hustling, whatever it is, I feel like when you're in that state of motivation, you're like, well, that doesn't fucking help because everybody says the same fucking thing. But yeah, everybody says the same fucking thing because that's the correct fucking answer. However, when you're sitting over here with motivation and you're like, okay, I'm motivated. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I have all this motivation and energy, but what do I do? Because how are these super successful people over here who have achieved my goals? They're saying that I need discipline, but I don't have discipline right now, I have motivation. Once you can see like, oh, I have motivation, and actually I can just like switch that motivation into discipline, and I can get to where I want to be. It's not one or the other, they go hand in hand. At the end of the day, discipline is what's gonna take you from being motivated to actually having what you want, but they work together, like they need each other. The first similarity is that both motivation and discipline, they both are very goal-oriented things. You're never going to be motivated for something that you don't care about, and you're never going to stay disciplined with something that you don't care about. So are they super different? Of course they are. They're two completely different things, but both of them push you towards your goals. And also, they both play a huge role in the effort that you put forth when it comes to actually achieving your goals. The discipline ensures that you're committing, you're showing up every day, you're doing shit that you don't want to do when you don't want to do it, because you know inevitably it's going to get you to where you want to be. But the motivation is going to dictate how much energy you can give towards your commitments every day. Your motivation is going to show you how much energy you have towards your discipline. So if I want to go to the gym every single morning at 5 in the morning, if I go to bed 2 hours earlier than I normally do, when I wake up, I'm probably going to be so motivated to go to the gym, right? Because I have all this extra energy and like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling so refreshed. I'm feeling so excited. I can go to the gym. I can meet my goal today. And it's going to be so much easier. Whereas if I went to bed 2 hours later than I normally should, when I wake up that day, I'm not going to want to go to the fucking gym. I am not. I'm going to be so tired. I'm going to say, fuck this. I don't want to go. And that's where the discipline is going to come into play. So sometimes my motivation is going to be on 110%, and it makes my discipline not even have to be this like, oh, I have to stay disciplined. It's going to make it like, no, my motivation fully took me through that day. Whereas other days I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be at 20% motivation, and I'm going to just be like, gee, I don't want to fucking go, but you know what? That's where discipline falls in. That's where discipline, it's a mindset. Motivation is a feeling and discipline is a mindset. It's a way of being, it's a way of performing, it's a way of acting, it's a way of life. Motivation is just a feeling. Feelings change. Sometimes you'll feel 100% motivated, sometimes you'll feel 2% motivated. No matter what, it's gonna push you through somehow. And the same thing goes for obstacles or roadblocks. When you approach a roadblock, the discipline is gonna push you through and be like, well, fuck this. This is really annoying. I don't wanna have to do it, but I'm gonna stay disciplined. I'm gonna get over this roadblock, and once I'm over it, it's gonna be so much easier because, you know, that was super annoying. My path was straight. I was going. There was nothing wrong. Now I gotta climb this big ass wall. And, you know, once I'm over the other side, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be smooth sailing from there. Discipline's gonna take you through that. The motivation, again, sometimes it's gonna be at 100, sometimes it's gonna be at 20, it's gonna be at 10, it's gonna be at 80, it's gonna be at 10, whatever it is, that's gonna alter your levels of that willpower, the drive, the like, you know what? No, this wall is actually so much fun, because if this wall wasn't here, then I would probably get really bored, and discipline would get really boring because I would have to do the same thing on the same path every single day. So you know what? I'm actually glad that this roadblock is here because I have something to climb over now. I have something to figure out. I have something to learn. Whether you're 10% motivated, 100% motivated, you always have to be 100% disciplined. And that's where I feel like the biggest disconnect is. It's like, no matter how much motivation you have, it's up to you to be 110% disciplined. That is something that you are fully in control over. You are fully able to control. You can't control how much motivation you're gonna feel because it is an emotion. You can control your thoughts, which then can dictate your emotions, but you can't wake up every morning knowing that you're gonna be at 110% motivation or you're gonna be 110% happy. You might wake up feeling fucking shitty, just mad. You might wake up feeling mad, but at the end of the day, you have complete control over your discipline. So yes, discipline is what's gonna get you to where you wanna be with 100% certainty. But it's almost impossible to stay disciplined if you don't have some form of motivation. You need some form of motivation, whatever it is, no matter how big or small it is, you need that some tiny little inkling of motivation to stay disciplined. Which brings us to chapter 2. How do we actually find motivation? Having enough motivation to make a vision board or to watch your favorite movies on the topic or even to take action, having enough motivation to do these little things, that's great. That's amazing. That's awesome. But it needs to be more sustainable than that. It needs to be more than just, oh, well, I made a vision board, so now what? It needs to be more sustainable. Finding and creating sustainable motivation is the key to powering through when you need the reminder as to why you're staying disciplined. Because if you're just staying disciplined and you don't really have a reason, you're kind of like, wait, I can stop. I don't, like, why the fuck am I doing this? So if you don't have sustainable motivation, then you're probably gonna give up, because you're probably gonna be like, well, why the fuck do I care? Like, what is this gonna do for me? You know, it's kind of like when you're doing something and you're not feeling that like selfish reason to do it, you kind of don't want to fucking do it. So yeah, maybe you're out here looking for motivation and you're making your vision boards to be motivated. That's great, that's great. But that's why there's two types of motivations. There's intrinsic motivation and there's extrinsic motivation. So one is inside and one is outside. Extrinsic motivation is going to come from your desire to gain external validation. So your motivation is going to be the recognition or the fame or the amount of money or things you could buy, the bragging rights, the, yeah, I just bought that brand new G-Wagon, yeah, that's mine. Yep, paid in full. We all want the corner office with the big window so that when we come into work, we could be like, yeah, fuck you, I'm better than you. Maybe we don't say it out loud, but that's the motivation. That's why we want to do it. We all want to be able to say, yeah, I graduated top of my class from Yale. Yeah. Does it, at the end of the day, does it make a huge difference in anything? Usually no, but you get to say it. You get to say, yeah, I graduated from Yale. Yeah, I drive a brand new G-Wagon, chocolate brown interior. That's me manifesting, because I really want that. This type of motivation is great. I feel like so many people demonize it and they make it so terrible. Like, no. Hello. We all want nice shit. We all want to be able to buy things. We all want to be able to say, yes, I drive that really nice car. My house is paid off in full. This job is amazing. My kid went to Yale. They graduated at the top of their class in Yale. We all want to be able to say how amazing we are, right? Like, that is our human, that's our ego, that's our desire for just being better than those around us. And I don't care how good of a person you are. It's literally designed in us. It's in the animal kingdom. All animals want to be bigger than the other animals. All animals want to have more mates than the other animals. All animals want to, oh, I can run faster, I can climb higher, I can kill better. Like, it's within us. This is the most common and easy access form of motivation. It's great. We love it. It does what it needs to do. So saying, well, I want to buy a new G-Wagon, so that's why I'm working late every single day. That's a great reason to work. That's a great reason to keep working hard and keep putting in the extra hours. But like with anything in life, that motivation is bound to fade. After that first week of putting in those extra hours at night, that motivation of the G-Wagon, it's like, well, you know what I really fucking want right now is I want to go home at a normal time and eat a regular fucking dinner and not fall asleep in my work clothes. That G-Wagon becomes so much less important than your right now desires. My right now desires is I'm fucking tired. I don't need to be putting in this extra work. I don't want to put in this extra work. Fuck the G-Wagon. My car that I have right now works. That's fine. That's great. It happens. And that's why it's not the most sustainable source of motivation. Is it great? Does it work? Does it do what it needs to do? It does. But it's not sustainable. It is bound to fade. But that's why we have intrinsic motivation. That comes from within and it's driven by your desire to do something for your own sake. So think about reading a book, right? Nobody's forcing you to read this book. You don't have to read this book. There's no deadline to finish this book. You don't even have to finish this book. You just are like, I am in the mood to read a book. That's what I want to do. That's what intrinsic motivation feels like. Nobody's telling you to do something. There's no, I'm going to read this book so I can prove that I can read books to people. You're not doing that. We're doing it simply because we want to. Not for any other reason. You're literally just doing it because it brings you joy, it made you happy, and that's about it. So yeah, it's really easy to find it when it comes to, oh, I'm going to listen to this song because I like this song, or oh, I'm gonna go spend the day at the beach because I want to spend the day at the beach, or I'm gonna read this book because I want to read this book. It's really easy to find those internal motivators when they're for things that don't, I don't want to say they don't matter, but they're not for the big things. They're not for goals to achieve. They're not for once I'm here, I'll have achieved my goals. It's not for stuff like that. When it comes to stuff like that, it's a little bit harder to tap into that side. Any goal you have, any goal you're setting, you're most likely doing it for some type of external gain, whether it's academic validation or validation from your peers or more money or nice things or being able to provide XYZ for whoever. A lot of the bigger goals in our life that we're setting for ourselves, they're not really to simply just fulfill us and nothing else. They're usually to fulfill us and also get us ahead in our career, or get us more money, or get us more fame, or we could buy the biggest house on the block. Like, we're a lot of the times, even if yes, there is some aspect that we want to do this for ourselves, there's always these external motivators that come into play. So once you can learn how to use your extrinsic motivators to fuel your intrinsic motivators, you're gonna be unstoppable. It's so fucking sick, and it's literally just like a never-ending cycle of like, okay, these are my extrinsic or external motivators, and this is how they can feed my intrinsic motivators, and this is how my intrinsic motivators is gonna feed my willpower to do the things every single day, which then feeds my discipline. And it turns into this big cycle, and it never fucking ends, and it makes your life so much easier. So there are 5 key aspects to finding intrinsic motivation, and the way that we're gonna apply it in this situation is, how do I make myself want to do the things for myself? So yes, maybe the G-Wagon is the goal, but how do you turn that I want a G-Wagon, how do you turn that into like a self-fulfilling motivator? The first intrinsic motivator is gonna be curiosity. So how interested are you in learning about this topic? So whatever your goal is, how interested are you in learning about this goal? And more so process-based interests and not outcome-based interests, because outcome-based interests typically are those external motivators. So let's say your goal is to open your own jewelry business. How interested are you in learning about the jewelry industry and learning about different types of metals and learning about different types of designs and stuff like that? Do you have this huge curiosity for learning about that? Do you have this huge curiosity for learning the ins and outs of the business world? Do you have this huge curiosity to talk to people that have done what you've done? Like, do you want to learn more? The second intrinsic motivator is going to be mastery. So how often do you want to dedicate time to being best at your craft? So whatever your goal is, how often are you dedicating time and putting in the time to being the best or bettering yourself, improving yourself at achieving your goal? Basically, how badly do you want to be the best? Third key to intrinsic motivation is going to be autotelicity. How often do you find yourself doing things that are aligned with achieving your goals without being forced to or required to? That's all that is. So if your goal is to start cooking homemade meals every night after work, how often do you find that you're on Pinterest scrolling and finding for new recipes, or you're in the kitchen just mixing some things together and seeing what works, or you're making sure that you're going grocery shopping at the beginning of every week so that your fridge is stocked so that you won't be tempted to, oh, I'll just pick Chick-fil-A up after work. Stuff like that, right? The fourth is going to be purpose. So how connected do you feel to this goal? How connected do you feel to the reasons why you're achieving this goal? If your goal is to be able to squat 225 pounds, what is the purpose of that? How connected do you feel to that purpose? Like, maybe your purpose is simply to prove to yourself, I can do this. Like, I know that it's hard and I know that that's crazy, but I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna do it. Maybe that's all your purpose is simply, I want to prove it to myself that I can do it, and it's for no other reason. Or maybe it's to just prove to people that, hey, women can be really strong too. And then the last one is gonna be autonomy. So how much do you feel like you have complete control over this? How much control do you feel you have over this goal? Let's say for this one, your goal is to move out of your parents' house and live in your parents' apartment, but you're 16 years old. So realistically and legally, you can't do that. So you don't have that much autonomy over this goal, but you can find autonomy over this goal. You could decide, I'm gonna pick up some more shifts so I can save more money, so that when I turn 18, I am gonna have so much money saved so that I can do this. Curiosity, mastery, autotelicity, purpose, and autonomy. Those are the 5. And now think about your goal, write down whatever your goal is, whatever you want to achieve, and I want you to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's say your purpose is at 10, all-time high. You know what your purpose is. You're so passionate about this. You really, really want to fulfill this purpose. That's a 10. But let's say your mastery is a 2, but your curiosity is an 8. 10 is going to be you have the most amount of internal motivation to do this thing, and then 1 is going to be you have the least amount. This is going to be a really good way for you to gauge how you're actually feeling internally about your goal. Because if you set a goal and you don't have any internal purpose for it, 1, it's going to either show you that your goal has nothing to do with yourself, so therefore it's kind of pointless because you're just trying to achieve this goal to impress other people or to have these external validations, which, okay, fine, but like, why are you wasting your time on that? When at the end of the day, it's never going to satisfy you, so you're going to keep trying to chase all these things and you're never going to be satisfied. So it's a waste of time. Really, any goal you have, you can force yourself to find intrinsic motivators. You can force yourself to build it up. You're probably not going to rank all the intrinsic motivators out of 10. If you told me that $1 million was on the line, I would probably figure out a way to make those all at a 10, but that's what we're working towards. We want to work towards getting them all at least above a 5, above 50%. I love to see it in the 70%, so ranking them like 6, 7, 8. 10 is great, but 10 is not realistic. And at the end of the day, like I was saying in the beginning, motivation is feeling. So some days you're going to wake up and feel super, super passionate about it. And then other days you're just not. No matter how connected to the purpose you are, no matter how connected to the mastery, to the curiosity, to whatever, some days it's going to be there and some days it's not. But that's why having at least 2 or 3 at really, really high, even when you're not feeling like you want to stay disciplined, knowing in the back of your mind, like, I am 100% committed to my purpose. I am 100% committed to being the best. I am 100% committed to having full autonomy of my life, and once I achieve this goal, I'll be able to do it. So that's why I'm staying disciplined. Lastly, if you want to be motivated and find motivation and create motivation, you have to surround yourself with motivation. Listen to podcasts about the topic, read books about the topic, read books about people who did things in the topic that aligns with what your goal is. If you surround yourself with these motivations every single day, in whichever way, it's going to be so much easier to stay disciplined because you're going to actively like see it, hear it, be around it. Like literally you go into Target, you put your little headphones in, you're listening to a podcast, you're surrounding yourself with millionaires because you're listening to people talking. They're millionaires. That's you surrounding yourself with them. Maybe you can't see them in real life. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're listening to it, your brain is hearing it. It's the same thing as you listening to your friend bitch about how much they hate work and bitch about how, oh, well, you know, this and this and this and money's evil and da-da-da-da-da. You could be listening to that, it's going to keep you down here. Or you could be listening to this podcast of this person that you don't even know, but it's going to incite this feeling of like, oh my fucking God, like they did that and they started out and they were exactly where I was at my age and they were able to. You're going to be so much more motivated. Finding motivation is really easy. Listening to podcasts while you get ready, so fun. Making the vision board, so fun. Now doing the work is a little bit harder. So welcome to chapter 3. How are we actually going to build discipline? How are we actually going to be disciplined when it comes to achieving our goals? There's a quote that you might have heard. All it says is choose your hard. That's all it is. Staying disciplined is hard. Doing things you don't want to do when you don't want to do them is hard. Waking up early to go to the gym is hard. Building your own business with no business experience and no investors is hard. Posting on social media for only 20 people to see it consistently for 5 months is hard. But guess what else is hard? Staying the same, staying right where you are, watching somebody else achieve all of the things you've always wanted to achieve, watching them do it when you know that you could have started when they started. The regret of not starting when they started is so hard. It sucks to not feel good in your own self. It sucks to not have faith in yourself. It sucks to not believe in yourself. It sucks to feel uncomfortable in your own fucking life. It's all hard. Life is hard. No matter which path you choose, it's hard only because it's not just laying in bed and watching movies all day. Life is just a game. You know how Monopoly gets kind of boring after a while? That's life. Life is just like Monopoly. Like you just keep going around and around and around and around and around and around, and then you die. So you can either play the game and just, okay, I have to be here, so I'm gonna play it really fucking well. Or you could sit and I fucking hate it so hard. I don't want to do anything. And why is everybody else doing so much better than me? Why do they have more money than me? Why do they have more friends than me? Why are they happier than me? Maybe because they're actually playing the game of life rather than getting played by the game of life, okay? It's gonna happen one way or the other. So choose your fucking hard. You could choose to stay the same. You could choose to wallow in self-pity and regret. Or you could just choose to stay disciplined. It's all fucking hard. Just choose one. First thing you're gonna do to stay disciplined towards your goals is you're going to create an actionable game plan, okay? Like, how do you expect to get to where you want to go if you don't know how to get there? You can't. You say, I'm sitting here and this is where I want to go. This is where I am now and this is my goal. You gotta figure out how the fuck to get there. When you say, my goal is to save $5,000 by the end of the year, but you don't have a game plan for it, it's gonna be a lot easier to, well, that is my goal, but that new pair of shoes is really nice and it's only this much money and I'm gonna get paid in 2 weeks, so I'll just buy them now. And then, you know, the end of the year is gonna come and you're gonna be like, I didn't achieve my goals. I'm really mad. I'm really upset. Why did I not? Because you didn't have a game plan. You didn't have a game plan. It's so much easier to stay on track and stay disciplined when you have a game plan, okay? Just like how it's so much easier to get to where you're going. When you type it in your little maps, you say, this is where I'm going. I have no idea how the fuck to get here, but here's the address. Do your thing, Google. Do your thing, Apple. Apple says, okay, perfect. Here's how you're gonna get there. So much fucking easier than getting off at random exits and guessing and hoping. Like, if you want to do that there, why are you doing it here? This is simple. This is just something like, oh, la, 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 I'm gonna go see a play tonight and I don't know how to get to the theater. This is your life. This is your life. This is your life. Why would you, if you're not gonna guess here, why the fuck would you guess here? It's almost impossible to fuck up a goal if you have a game plan for it, okay? Like, it's written out. You've done all the hard work. You've done all the hard shit. You've done all the planning. You've done all the, like, okay, I gotta figure out, like, okay, if I wanna make an extra, if I wanna save an extra $5,000 a year, but I don't wanna spend less, I'm gonna need to make more. So figure it all of it out, okay? It's all up here, and then you write it out, and you're like, oh, I can actually see this is where I'm starting, and this is where I'll end, and you can actually see it. It's like literally almost impossible to fuck up. It's kind of like a recipe. Like, if the instructions are crystal clear, it's kind of hard to fuck it up. When you're making this game plan, be realistic with what you are willing and able to do every single day, okay? Like, don't write some stupid shit that you know is only gonna last for a week. But with that, don't set yourself up for failure just because you're scared, okay? You know realistically what you're able to do, and you know realistically what you're willing to do. Don't sell yourself short. Don't say, well, realistically, I'm able and willing to do this, but because I'm kind of scared, I'm gonna do this. Okay, no, do this. So after you've made your game plan, you need to make your contingency plans. Just like in almost every team sport, they have a book of plays that no matter what the situation is, no matter where they are on the field, no matter if they're offense or defense, no matter if they have the ball or not, like, no matter what, no matter if their best player is down and benched, they have a whole book of game plans. Say, oh, well, we can't do that one right now, so flip to page 47 and we'll do that one. They have contingency plans, so they can't fail no matter what. They prepared for, well, this is the worst case scenario, but this is the 100% best we can do with the worst case scenario. That's the plan. That's what your contingency plan is, because you are going to fuck yourself over so hard if you think that you could show up the same exact way every single day, if you think that you could wake up every single day of every single year the same exact fucking way. You're cracked. You're crazy. But you can always show up as your best self every single day, because no matter how much energy you have, no matter what, if you give your 100%, maybe your best self is when you're always on 100% all the time. That's your best self. But maybe you wake up and you're only 70%. Guess what? That means 70%, when you hit 70% out of 70% today, that's you giving your 100%. So yeah, you can show up as your absolute 100% best self every single day, because that's you just deciding, no matter what I feel like when I wake up, I'm going to give 100% of my effort, of the ability and the capacity that I have to put forth towards being disciplined, towards my goal. I'm gonna give that. And that's what the contingency plans are for, okay? Some days we're gonna wake up sick. Some days our period's gonna fucking start on the wrong day of the week because we thought it was gonna come on Friday, but it actually came on Tuesday. And we're gonna wake up with cramps and we're gonna be pissed and XYZ. But our goal was to make sure that we worked out every single weekday. Maybe when you're 100% fine and you wake up with 100% motivation and energy, you can go do your hour-long gym session and finish with 20 minutes of cardio. But when you wake up and your fucking period came when you didn't think it was gonna be, your 100% that day is gonna just be, I'm gonna go on a 20-minute walk to my favorite coffee shop and get my favorite coffee, and I'm gonna walk home. You showed up 100%. You stayed committed and you stayed disciplined towards achieving your goal of, I'm gonna work out Monday through Friday. Congratulations. It's not that fucking hard. It's only hard if you make it hard, okay? That's why we make contingency plans. Is it hard to stay disciplined? Sure. It's so much easier to stay disciplined when you have, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm gonna get there. Oh, there's some roadblocks on this route, so we're gonna take this route. Wow, what a fucking thought. The next biggest thing is accountability, and I feel like this is where lots of people struggle, me included. Accountability. Especially if your goal has no, like, bearings, I guess. Like, if your goal is simply just for yourself and you're doing it for you and nobody's forcing you to do it, it's so hard to stay accountable. You have to stay accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable. Whatever works for you, whether it's going online and like telling everybody what you're doing, it's easy because when you stop posting, it's like, oh, did you quit? You don't want that embarrassment. You don't want your pride to get struck down like that, right? So yeah, I'm gonna post about it online because what the fuck? Like, I don't want people to see me fail. If you need a habit tracker, if you literally need to go to Walmart, go to Target, go to wherever, buy a giant whiteboard and put a grid on it, put the calendar on it, and make a habit tracker. Use Notion, use Google Calendar, like I don't know what, use whatever works for you. The next biggest thing to staying disciplined is time management. Oh my god, because I feel like the easiest thing to say is, oh well, I couldn't stick to that because I just didn't have enough fucking time. Bitch, yes you do. Yes you fucking do. I don't have enough time to start my side hustle because, oh, but on the weekends you're going out every fucking night and you know, you're scrolling for 2 hours when you get home. No, it's not that you don't have enough time, it's that you're not managing your time properly in a way that's going to align you to achieving that goal. If you don't want it that bad, that's fine. You could just say that. You could just say, well, I really don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't want to achieve this goal. I want to scroll on TikTok when I get home from work for 2 hours. I don't want to start my side hustle. That's fine. But stop acting like you don't have the time. You do. You do. Stop pretending like there's all these reasons that are out of your control as to why you can't. No. You have the time. It's where you decide to place your energy during the time. Okay? And the last way to build discipline is by doing weekly inventories or weekly check-ins with yourself. Take a weekly inventory of your progress. So let's say maybe your goal was, I'm gonna do 1 hour of Spanish every single day. And you have only been doing 40 minutes. You've only been doing 30 minutes. Or you just stopped altogether. Like maybe you did it for 2 days and then you stopped. You need to change it because it's not realistic and we're not able to stay disciplined with it. I'm not saying to make excuses for yourself and justify your inability to do these things, but you have to be realistic. So maybe you thought at the beginning when you were making your game plan, you thought you're willing and able to do 1 hour a day. But as you started doing it, you're like, actually, this is a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. Now that I go to my weekly progress report, oh, well, I overestimated my abilities. I overestimated my willing and able. So now let me alter it, okay? Let me alter my game plan a little. I'm still working towards my goal, but instead of an hour long of Spanish, I'm gonna do 20 minutes. Or maybe the hour is fine, but it's just you don't want to sit down for an hour and do Spanish. Maybe you want to break it up into 6 chunks of 10 minutes. You just need to alter it a little bit, okay? And that's what the best part about these weekly progress checks are, is because it's like, okay, this is what I've been really good at, and this is what's been a little bit hard for me. And that's the thing with discipline is it's not about the rigid, like, you have to do this every single time, 100% of the time. Like, yes, it is that. But also it's, I have to do this because I'm getting here. So it's not the, that's not the end goal. The end goal isn't to stay disciplined. The end goal is whatever your end goal is. So for you to stay disciplined in towards getting to your end goal, this might the everyday, the plan might have to change, and that's okay. And it doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that you're not disciplined, which leads me to our mindset shifts. A lot of what makes discipline hard is the mindset that you have on it. This one is the first and most common, and it's just like an autopilot mindset. I don't know if we're all born with it or what, but I'm not good at XYZ. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. Whatever it is you're trying to do, like if you're trying to wake up earlier, oh, well, I'm just not a morning person. I'm not smart enough to open my own business. Or, oh, I'm just not good at cooking. It's just, I'm not good at cooking. That's why I get takeout all the time. That mindset, no more of that. None of that. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Whenever you start to think those, oh, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at this. Instead of saying that, you're going to start saying, I'm the type of person that can do anything I set my mind to. Actually, I can do anything I set my mind to. Or if you're the type of person like me and you respond better to tough love, you could try instead of I'm not good at this, you could try, there are literally a million people in this world doing this thing. Like, it's not that fucking hard. If they can do it, I can fucking do it. This is allowing you to switch into the growth mindset instead of like, oh, I can't do that. You're switching into the like, actually, I can do anything I fucking want to do. So you saying, I'm not good at this, so I don't want to try because I'm not good. No, that's embarrassing. We're not going to do that anymore. Every time we start to feel those little thoughts, switch into the, actually, no, yeah, I fucking can't, because guess what? There's so many other people on this earth that do it. And if they can do it, I can fucking do it. Or, you know what? I am the type of person that's actually good at things, okay? I am the type of person that is good at this. So instead of focusing on what you can't do, you're focused now on the limitless potential of what you can do. And also, if you like the more tough love aspect of everything, this can remind you that actually there are so many people in the world from all walks of life that are actively doing the things that you wish you were doing. And maybe you're not as lucky as them or as privileged as them, but at the end of the day, there's somebody else that's looking at you being like, wow, they're so lucky, they're so privileged. There's somebody else looking at you saying, I wish I was where they were, just like how you're sitting there. And you could be thinking, well, they started out better than me. They have rich parents. They have an upper hand in this. While you're sitting here thinking that, there's somebody else sitting there looking at you thinking of the same thing. No matter where you are in life, there's always somebody that's one step up, okay? No matter who you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you are. So if you want to sit here and, oh, I can't do that. I'm not, stop. The second mindset shift is going to apply to those days that you just you wake up and you're feeling sluggish and you're feeling like, I want to quit. I don't want to keep going. Like, I want to give up. For the days that you wake up and you want to give up, instead of focusing on how you feel, instead of focusing on how cozy your bed is, and on how tired you are, and on how hard it is, and how much you don't know, and how much you're going to have to learn, and instead of focusing on all that bullshit, right, you're going to say, actually, I owe it to my future self to put in the work. I owe it to my future self to make all of her dreams come true. You do. Because you choosing to stop now puts her so much further behind, and it's your fault. It's not her fault. She hasn't come into fruition yet. It's your fault. So don't do that to her. Don't do that to her, bitch. Or we have the tough love alternative. Who the fuck am I to stop my future self from having everything she wants? Who the fuck am I to do that? Or I'm the only reason I'm not where I want to be because I haven't been showing up for myself every single day in the way that I should be. I am the only reason that I am not where I want to be. Okay? You could take accountability for that. And when you have that accountability placed on you and you truly believe, like, I am the only fucking reason I'm not where I want to be, because I should have started back then. I should have started on January 1st like I said I was going to. I am the only reason that I'm not where I want to be right now. Once you can take that accountability, it makes it so hard to run from it. And that's why so many people are so willing to put the blame on external circumstances, or, oh, I'm not here because of that, or, oh, well, it's not fair because that happened. And no, because at the end of the day, the only reason you're not where you want to be is because of you. Think of your future self as your fucking daughter, okay? Like, you would want to give her the whole entire world. Give your future self the whole entire fucking world. Don't limit her just because you're not feeling like it now. The last and arguably the best mindset shift and the easiest mindset shift to have is, no matter what circumstance, once you're faced with the decision of being mediocre or staying disciplined, you're going to say, what would my dream self do right now? What would the girl of my dreams do right now? That's going to immediately switch you into, there is a dream version of yourself. There is a dream girl version of yourself. And you know exactly what the fuck she would do, because she is your future self. She is the girl. She's the version of you that has achieved all these dreams and goals. She has everything you want to have. She is the version of you that you want to be. So when you say, what would my dream girl do right now? You know exactly what the fuck she would do right now. She would do the thing that you're not wanting to do right now. And you're just, all right, instead of, well, she would do this, but I'm going to do this. No, baby. No, because that's embarrassing. You actively know that she would do this, but you're going to choose to do that, even though you already sat here and thought about it. We're not going to do that. We're going to do what she would do. You know how to create and find motivation. You know how to stay disciplined. So here are your weekly orders. Think about one goal that you want to achieve. And I'm talking about that goal that you've been putting off for the last 2 New Year's resolutions lists. Like, it's been at the top of your list and you never fucking do it. Put that goal. That is the goal we're working on, okay? Because if it has followed you from resolution list to resolution list, and I'm going to start today, I'm going to start on Monday, whatever that fucking goal is, get your journal out, get a piece of paper out, use your phone, I don't fucking care. Put today's date and write that goal at the very top. And then you're going to list out all the external motivators that you have. So this goal, what are all the external reasons that you want to do this? Whether it's, I want to look really cool in front of my friends, I want to be the best at this, I want a new car, I want to look rich, I want to eat, whatever it is, list out all those external motivators, and then list out all the internal motivators, okay? And if you did the list before and you ranked them, great. You could do it again if you want and go into more detail, or you don't have to do it. But what you are going to do now is list out all the ways that you can boost your intrinsic motivation, okay? So maybe you've already ranked them, but now how am I going to boost my curiosity towards achieving this goal? How am I going to boost my mastery towards achieving this goal? It's kind of like your game plan, but that's more your game plan for how you're going to increase your intrinsic motivators, right? And then you're going to make your game plan and you're going to make your contingency plans. Just remember that in a few months' time, you could be filled with joy, jumping up and down and being like, oh my God, I finally achieved my goal and it's been on my goal list for the last 4 years and I finally fucking did it. Or you could be filled with regret and you could come back to this video and be like, I just need a little bit more motivation. Like, maybe I'll do it this time. That is completely up to you. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the first episode of the Pretty Princess Command Center, and I hope you have a good fucking day.